Welcome back to the Youth and Politics podcast. My name is Cody.
And my name is Carrara, and today we are being joined by.
I'm Samir. I'm the Member of Youth Parliament for Bury in Greater Manchester.
Very, very exciting. So, obviously, me and Cody are from Milton Keynes. Samir, why don't you tell us a little bit about the local government in Manchester and what that looks like?
So as Member of Youth Parliament, we work a lot with the local council and the combined authority. So the combined authority is all like the local councils basically in Manchester working together. So stuff like children's services and education and stuff. We have a bit of a say in some of the sort of policy that they put forward.
Cool. Lovely stuff. And what's your favorite part about being an MYP?
I think it's the people you meet. Not I'm not talking about the politicians. They're sort of there to work with. I'm talking about like the young people, the people you represent. When you create a project or you're working with a group of young people and you can see the effects of it. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. If you don't mind me, I'll just jumping in for
Go for it.
So obviously, as you said, you're just an MYP. Obviously you get to go to Parliament and stuff. Like for many young people, that's something that they will never experience. Can you say how that experience was for you? Like, have you been to Parliament yet for the sitting?
Yeah, we did. We've done stuff with obviously Youth Parliament with the annual sitting, and then as part of the select committee, I've been to a few meetings and stuff. It's like I don't know. It's nice inside. The feeling is like you're really in the centre of British politics. Even just like it's crazy. Like you sit in like the canteen or some stuff in Parliament, and you see like big time politicians walk past, and it seems like whatever you do in Parliament sort of means something. So, coming from North Manchester 2 years ago, I'd never have dreamt of being in Parliament or anything. But, more opportunities like Youth Parliament and like getting involved with your local youth council. There's a lot of opportunities to get involved with, obviously, Parliament, but then local governments is really, really accessible for young people. It's getting more accessible than maybe it used to be.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think it's definitely like there's so much more now than there was like
Years ago.
before, which is really, I think it's amazing to be honest. And like you said, I think sitting in Parliament, that's low key like that's insane. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I love that the youth parliament gets to do that because, like you said, if like you kind of feel
I
important.
think
Do you
as
know what I
well,
mean?
like on still on the MYP topic, because I think it's very interesting. Like I don't know if you feel the same. I think like MYPs nowadays are like getting more recognition that they actually deserve. For example, like they're like I mean obviously they're mini MP really. But like it's so nice that MPs like actual adult MPs are working with their MYPs sometimes. I don't know if that's similar for you.
Um, I'm sort of really grateful. But the two MPs that serve Bury are pretty engaging, and I know stuff varies across the UK with how engaged MPs are with their member of youth parliament. But we've got a decent local authority, decent local authorities across Greater Manchester, a decent set of MPs that invite you to the office. You go and speak to them. Local issues, see where they can help. So my experience with working with my MP has been great. They've both been really helpful. Yeah.
That's really good. That's good to hear. I think it's good. I love an engaging MP. I think
Yeah.
that's probably like the best
Yeah.
thing ever. Do you want to tell us a little bit about maybe some of the campaigns that you've run or been a part of as an MYP?
So in Bury, we've recently passed a motion to council, which we had unanimous support off the council for. It's so I know you guys have probably been involved with your local youth council as well. Sometimes it seems a little unproductive. Sometimes it seems like you haven't got representation from. I don't know about you guys, but we didn't have representation from everywhere across Bury. So Bury's like 4 towns, and then they've put us in one local authority. So I was the only person from my area going like a bit of a trek up to Bury. So what we've tried to create is, and sort of something that I've led, is get using student councils in schools. So getting these 12 or 13 secondary schools in Bury. If we have a student council in every single secondary school, and then one member of each feeding back to youth cabinet, that's good representation, and it means we've got 15 or 16 really passionate young people who can speak to the leader of the council and councillors and directors like the director of children's services and stuff. So that's a project that I'm really pushing at the minute. We're hoping to start properly in September. It's getting all the framework done over summer. So hopefully then we can have a decent youth cabinet, that can, really push through, get in touch with politicians basically.
Yeah, I think for, like that's so similar to me as well. Like, for example, obviously we've just been on our local youth council as well, and I'm still on it. But like it's that feeling when like obviously I've spoken to the leader of the council and the cabinet members of Milton Keynes City Council quite a few times, and like yeah, we may not always see eye to eye, but it's so nice to actually get my point across. And not many like obviously I'm there to represent my whole school and my constituency, so that's really good that I can speak on behalf of them. It's not necessarily always me, it's speaking on their issues. So I think that's great that like what like obviously in your area that that's happening or like trying to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's so important. It starts from like local small things like string councils.
Yeah.
And that they truly mean a big difference to the wider picture, I think, like for
Yeah.
all young people.
Yeah, like I'm
And
sorry, I'm gonna, like yeah, like slightly here, but like our like youth council used to be a youth cabinet, and then we switched to a youth council, and now we have two elected members from every single secondary school in Milton Keynes, and like you said, it just helped increase engagement from every single area of
Yeah.
the city because on the youth cabinet before it wasn't like you weren't hearing from like the whole city. Do you
Mm.
know what I mean? Like it was just
Yeah.
like certain places where people were like, yeah, I guess I'll join. Do you know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
getting schools involved is a really, really good idea.
I think that's what we're really trying to build in Berry, and I think just by us talking on in this conversation, it shows that how sort of youth voice varies across the UK. Like a youth council like that, they have a similar in Oldham, which is sort of a neighbouring borough in Greater Manchester. But then you look at other local authorities and other areas, in Lancashire, in Merseyside, in West Yorkshire. And the variation is just crazy. There's some have fantastic youth voice with a lot of representation, and then there's places like Bury where a lot of work needs to be done. So it just goes to show how there's not like one size fits all, if you know what I mean.
Mm. Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. And I think with youth voice, that's such a big thing because also like the issues that people like young people will raise will depend on like maybe where they live in the city or what
Yeah.
they're experiencing in their like specific areas instead of it being like you're saying a one size fits all and it's like here's a general blanket statement that this is what every single young
Yeah.
person is going through because that's just not always the case. Um, but yeah, I think what's been your favorite like campaign?
Mm.
Um, maybe from youth parliament or just like a youth campaign that you've seen in general. Like, what's been one of your favorite things that you've seen happen?
I think there's over the past couple of years, especially this term in youth parliament, there's been a lot of really, really fantastic stuff going on, up and down the country with a lot of young people. It seems like this year there's a really good set of engaged young people. My favourite, well, obviously I like this one we're doing at the
Yeah.
minute. I was a part of the youth select committee, so it was one member of youth parliament from each region. We came together in parliament to hear evidence of ministers and write a report. Setting out recommendations for the government. So we chose ours on youth violence and social media, and the links between. And it's nice now that the government announced last week or a couple of weeks ago the official response and sort of what they're going to do to respond to our report. So that's something I'm quite personally proud of. But again, there's so many campaigns, stuff like reducing poverty in Greater Manchester with the Youth Combined Authority, Youth Focus Northwest, and there's a lot of campaigns. Votes at 16, votes at 16. I'll say that one.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask you, what do you think about votes at
Yeah.
16?
I,
But yeah, what do you think about votes at 16?
I think it's fantastic that the government, has announced votes at 16. I think it needs to be accompanied by political education, and that's something we're all pretty much agreed on youth parliament. That's youth parliament policy. That votes at 16 should be accompanied by political, statutory democratic education, and I think that's something that government needs to act on and take forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
100%.
I think like we've spoken to a lot of people about like votes for 16 and like their different opinions. And we've had a range of like views on it. Like some say like
Mm.
obviously it's great, some say obviously it's not great. But obviously the big thing that comes out of all of it is political education. Everyone says that's just the right thing we need
Yeah,
to do.
yeah,
Um, but I actually had a question. So obviously Manchester is, correct me if I'm wrong, a devolution. So it's got a mayor. I can't remember the name. I forget that.
Andy
Um,
Bur
yeah, Andy, but yeah. But obviously Milton Keynes is just going through that stage of trying to get devolution. What do you think? the benefits of devolution in your area, and have you experienced any like working with the mayor?
Yeah, Andy Burnham himself is quite accessible. Without getting party political, him as a person is really good to work with. Devolution, I think, is really good. It gives more power to local people. So there's so many initiatives like we've seen in Greater Manchester that simply wouldn't have happened if some areas weren't as devolved. And obviously, devolution varies across different. It depends on the deal that each area gets. So we've got a combined authority, and they've implemented the B network. So now we've got all, like London has their red buses. We have all our buses yellow. Sort of integrated travel with the trams, the buses, cycling across the city. And that's been really, really good. It's kept transport cheaper than the rest of the country. We've got a £2 bus fare cap. Compared to some places, we have free transport for 16 and 17 and 18-year-olds at college. So there's a lot of stuff like that has only sort of happened in depending on which areas got devolved powers, like Manchester or Merseyside or West Yorkshire.
Oh my! Free transport for college students sounds like a dream.
Now that's just like that's made me feel like I want to go back to the council. So let's go ahead with this devolution.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do it.
I think what's really important though about devolution and creating these new combined authorities with metro mayors is that sometimes it feels like the council is too local and they don't have the funds and they don't have the power. And then the government is too, heads up in the clouds, far too high up with Parliament and not local enough. So combined authorities, I think, and the Metro Mayor agreements, they sort of bridge that gap. So it's more than one local authority working together, so they can sort of pool together and get stuff through for local people.
No, that is really cool. Sorry, I want to backtrack and pick up on something you were talking about earlier. You mentioned the Youth Select Committee. That's really exciting. Congratulations, because obviously not everyone gets to be a part of that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that was like as an experience for you and how it might have helped you grow as a person?
Yeah, it was quite eye-opening actually. We saw a lot of things with our because we went to Parliament a few times, to hear evidence and sort of report launch and hearing evidence like the induction and everything. Yeah, it shows you what Parliament's really about. Sometimes when you go to the annual sitting where it's just youth Parliament it can be a bit like we're the only people there, so you don't really get as good a feel for it. So obviously we're very, very privileged, and for going anyway. But while we were there, it was like a weekday. It was Wednesdays and Thursdays, quite a few times, and it was like we could see like actual parliamentary business. So it's a real eye opener, and it's made me want to get into politics more. Maybe as an MP eventually, but especially delivering locally, and so yeah.
I actually love that. Like that's exactly what I've always campaigned on is like getting young people involved. So they feel that they can also then in future go to do what the adults do and probably do it better in most cases. But yeah,
that's really exciting. That's really exciting. So in the future, what's like your goal, if you don't mind sharing?
No, I don't mind. Originally, I said I wanted to be Prime Minister, and if I ever had the opportunity of leading a party, that's delivering for working people, then I definitely would do. A party that delivers for everyone. But I don't know. I quite like the sound of Mayor of Greater Manchester, maybe. I'm not in politics, or I don't want to get into politics. For a status or to go to the council in a suit. You want someone to sort of fight for you, and obviously at the minute I'm seeing that there's no one really filling that gap. So there are a lot of young people in youth parliament who are really, really good politically, and really want to bring about some good change. And if we can, we might as well try, haven't we?
Yeah,
that's just such a good message. Isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like you're answering my questions, and I'm like, no, I can't ask it, but I will still ask it.
Yeah.
What is one thing you would say just before we wrap up? What's one thing you would say to any young person who's thinking about maybe getting involved in youth parliament or like joining a local council or like getting involved in the political world?
Definitely get involved. Don't hesitate. I think for obviously you guys will know as well, being involved in sort of youth voice and stuff, if an opportunity comes, you need to take it because that opportunity probably won't come again or for a very long time. You just need to take opportunities. I'd say to a lot of young people, don't be scared going to the council. I know a lot of people are. Don't be scared going into Parliament, speaking to MPs or whoever ministers. At the end of the day, it's funded by the taxpayer. They work for you. So at the end of the day, you're their employer. You need to tell them where the problems are so they can sort it out. And if they're not listening, you need to be the change. You can't sort of sit there and ask other people. It doesn't work like that.
Oh, I like that. I like that
Yeah,
message. I think that's true, actually. I think a
yeah,
lot of young people don't realize that they can actually just like hold their like local MP
yeah,
or their councillors accountable for things
yeah,
that they're like going through in their area because that is their role. Like,
yeah.
I've
That's
done all that before. So yeah,
You
that's
see,
really
you see stuff like cuts to children's services, and growing up, I didn't go to an academy school. I went to a maintained high school, which is now in the process of becoming an academy. And you see the troubles that local government's facing funding wise, and local schools and sort of potholes. Bury's got some of the worst potholes in the northwest. And stuff like this, stuff that's the sort of politics that people engage with every single day of their lives. Stuff like your bins being emptied, phone signal, everything, stuff like that. So I think young people really, really need to get involved. And you look around and it's full of old people in politics. We need some young people because we're people as well, if you know what I mean.
yeah. No, 100%. We are also equally as human as any other like adult
yeah.
out there. Like it's the same thing for us, it's the same thing for them. It's the world we all live in. So I completely agree with that. Yeah, do you have any other questions for us?
What are some campaigns that that young people could benefit from it? Like for me to take back to Berry and just to share with people.
Ooh.
Ooh,
What campaigns
uh,
we
I mean, I can tell you about what like the youth council did when I was on youth council.
yeah.
Um, so I'm not sure how you guys choose your local campaigns, but the way we did it was we looked at Make Your Mark, and we took so not the youth parliaments campaign, but the next two, and then if we didn't to choose the next two, or we thought they weren't like, or like if like the whole youth council thought they weren't as like high up an issue or a priority for an issue for young people in Milton Keynes, we would just choose
Mm.
like we'd vote on a different one and see which one we wanted. But we had youth crime, so like knife crime, alcohol abuse, substance abuse, and then we had mental health and well-being, which has been like an ongoing campaign
Yeah. For the
with the
youth
youth
camp.
council for years now because I think
Yeah.
it's still such a massive thing in Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the two like main things we had when I was on the youth council. But I think Cody might be able to tell you a bit about now, like what
Yeah.
he's been
So
experiencing.
like what we've done now is we've also got another well-being action group and culture, media and sports. So obviously that came in the Make Your Mark, I believe, second to art. So we had to pick that one. And everyone agreed that that was really important at this time and we need to push that forward. So what we're looking to do with the culture, media and sport campaign in Milton Keynes is like having more cultural events in schools, so more culture days, going into schools, giving them more like examples of how they could run it. Also having just bigger cultural like recognition in the city, like maybe more artwork or anything like that to just represent young people and also culture, media and sport, like getting everyone included in that campaign. So yeah, whereas the last two campaigns, so what Claire just mentioned, the youth crime and mental health, we did two reports that went around to every school in Milton Keynes. It took a while to get all this data back, but actually the data that came back was so useful.
Yeah.
And the MK City councillors looked at those reports and was like, wow, it's quite an eye opener because they never actually did that themselves.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice for them to see that, and actually they have tried taking action with like workshops in schools. The council delivering PowerPoints to schools, so that's quite important. That something actually got done through that.
Yeah, I think I think for Milton Keynes, I feel like I can only talk from when I was on youth council because I
Yeah.
obviously don't know that much about the new campaigns. But yeah, like I think having like representation from every school in Milton Keynes was such a big help because that
Yeah.
way we could actually like, I think we did Make Your Mark through schools. When we did it in 2022,
Two.
I believe. We did it in 2022. We only had 3,000 people vote. And then this time,
We had
last time we did Make Your Mark, we had 10,000 people,
yeah.
like 10,000 young people.
That's
So
Well,
like
that's really good, and is
massive.
That's fantastic, and you know this is the sort of thing that we're trying to replicate in Bury as they do in Oldham places, where you know people are running campaigns on youth councils, but they're not getting involved with very many people. So having you know elected reps at every school, you know representation from everywhere, that's how you reach the most amount of people. So I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like also like because obviously not everyone is in school or educational training. So we also had like a set number of seats
Yeah,
for like co-opted members or
for
like
homeschooled.
young people that might live in Milton Keynes but like go to school in like Aylesbury or somewhere else in Buckingham, for example. So we still had like young people that maybe don't go to school and maybe not like they don't have the same experience as young people in
Yeah.
schools, but we still wanted their voice because we thought that was really important as well. So I don't know, that's like another thing
Yeah.
we had, I guess. That was a lot of just talk.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of reminiscing.
Hopefully it helped though. Like,
But yeah, hopefully
yeah,
that's
it's
helpful.
quite nice to know how things work in different areas as well. But
Yeah,
that's been lovely.
yeah, I love it. It's great.
But yeah.
But cool. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming onto the podcast.
Thank you
And
very much for having me.
thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely
Bye.
stuff.